Welcome to The Culture. We rest at the pulse of the community, providing all things news, music, fashion, events, and everything that we talk about in between. It's a lifestyle. We are The Culture. Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Culture. I'm your host, Jessica Garrett-Motkins, and joining us today is resident clinical therapist, licensed clinical therapist, Belinda Gordon Battle. Welcome back to the show, ma'am.
Thank you for having me. I feel like I'm back at home. I'm excited to be here with The Culture.
Yes, and we are excited with the launch of your new show, Mental Wellness. Can you tell us what prompted you to want to provide services virtually, ready time? I mean, not ready time, but in real time. Tell us about the thought process.
I would love to share that with you. Mental wellness for the culture is an excellent opportunity for everyone that is a part of this culture, that you consider yourself a part of this culture, to engage in the process towards mental wellness. When I was working in the school sector, I would have opportunities to reach out to my culture through students, through colleagues, through parents, through organizations, to actually make sure that we were normalizing mental wellness, that we were doing things in our community to remove the stigma. But when I just went into private practice, I realized I was missing that opportunity, and the culture came to my rescue. The culture said, here's a platform. You may speak on these matters that are going to support our community, because we know that these things are important, that our mental wellness is just as important as our physical wellness, as our financial wellness. As a matter of fact, they all go together, and that is part of the culture. So I am so happy to be here on this platform with mental wellness for the culture.
Every time you would come onto the show, the feedback was phenomenal. It was, I know for me personally, that it was a nice relief. It was a mental checkup every time you came onto the show. And that from that feedback that we would receive, we realized, hey, this is something that we need. The feedback was phenomenal. People really wanted to have more from you. And what you were providing was very therapeutic for them, and it was real time, and it was things that I'm sure in your sphere is common, but in our culture we don't have an opportunity to have those type of discussions.
Yes, absolutely. And when we do have those discussions, we don't really know what to do next. We may have them quietly in the privacy of our homes, but this is an opportunity for everyone to engage with experts, because it's not just Belinda talking, it's other experts that look like us, Black and brown medical therapists that are licensed and can actually address the issues and concerns that are going on in our culture. Um, just for example, one of our amazing speakers, or guests, I should say, for
Right.
this season is Sylvia Pauling, and she is working with perpetrators of domestic violence. Even though she has a history and an awareness of abuse that goes on in the domestic violence, intimate relationships, she has made a decision to work with perpetrators. And so often we talk about these things around the kitchen table, but here is an expert that can give us some real insight into next steps, how we can help people in our community, because we're not gonna push this under the rug. We're going to be authentic, and we're going to be true. There are perpetrators that live amongst us right now. Now what? What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good.
that's the direction we are going in for mental wellness for the culture.
I've never heard anyone discuss, and let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. In layman's term, perpetrator is an abuser.
The abuser, yes.
And I've never heard of anyone wanting to delve into the life of the cause, as to why they deem it necessary to abuse someone else.
Absolutely.
Wow, what an undertaking she has
I'm
on her plate.
Yes, and I'm so excited to share that with the culture so we can continue to have that conversation. Because when you take into consideration that we know that there are abusers in our families, we know there are abusers in our community, and then that person may go from partner to partner, the same pattern of the behavior. And we always focus on the victim, the survivor. We want the survivor to get away, but we still need to work with and treat the
Yeah,
abuser, the perpetrator.
you're right. You're right.
Mhm.
Whole nother mindset. Never thought about that. We always think, like you said, about those who are being abused, how to help them. Because you know what? I'm going to say this and put it out there. A lot of times we think to ourselves, well, I am choosing
Mhm.
this type of person, which may have something to do with it. There
Mhm.
may be some sort of internal subconscious
Right.
rationale behind why you continue to choose that same prototype of a partner. But
Yes.
there's never that discussion about helping that abuser to
Mhm.
come to realization as to why they are choosing to do the things that they are doing.
Absolutely. And we, as a people, we can do both. We have the capacity to support the abuser and the capacity to support the survivor.
Mhm.
We can do this and make our entire community healthier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Breathtaking. Breathtaking. So this
Absolutely.
week you talked about balance, which Gabrielle Union, when she said her quote from her book, F Balance, I've just grabbed onto it, gravitated
Mhm.
with it, and really just delve into the fact that it is what it is. What I'm handling right now on my plate is
Mhm.
what I got. And tomorrow I may do a better job at whatever
Mhm.
I didn't get to today. What I'm not going to do is beat myself up about it. What were some of the takeaways that you and Sharice were able to unfold on that show?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up Gabrielle because it's important for us to connect mental wellness to things that are going on in our pop culture, people that are trending and speaking out and writing books, because it all goes together. And Sharice Watson was able to bring that to our attention. That balance is important. What Gabrielle was speaking about was the acceptance part of balance. You know, sometimes we think balance looks like everything is equal, but it doesn't. It looks like me accepting what I can and what I do, making myself a priority no matter what. That's what Sharice Watson shared. And I want to make sure that resonates with
Mhm.
all of us is that we have to make ourselves a priority. Put yourself on your schedule, she said. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Make sure you are on your schedule where you add your family, your job, your spouse. Before you add anything else, before you go to the grocery store, before you put Publix on your list, make sure that you say, "What about me?" and place yourself at the top of that list too.
So, if you're just joining us, what we've been talking about is Belinda has her own show, Mental Wellness. It's right here on The Culture. It's every Monday at noon. And this week she launched with licensed clinical therapist Sharice Watson. What else can we expect from Mental Wellness?
I'm so excited to just speak about that. Dr. Monique Dennis will come in and speak to us about resilience and what it takes because we are a resilient people. But what does that mean as far as mental wellness is concerned? Have we placed resilience in the mental wellness category, or are we just resilient because we're out here just grinding every day and we say we're resilient? What are we doing to make sure our mind, our body, and our spirit remain resilient? So I'm happy to say that Dr. Monique Dennis, Dr. Mo, is going to be with us this season. And one of my favorite discussions. You ready for this?
I got my seatbelt on.
There's so many things that are going to come from this. I already know it. I can feel it. Dr. Satara Streeter Corbett, we call her Dr. Satara Streeter, will come and speak to us about Black love.
Black
Black,
Love.
Black love.
Wow, I can't miss that show.
You can't miss it. You
Wow.
can't miss it. She is trained. She is dedicated. she is prepared to discuss Black love and what that looks like, what
Mhm.
that feels like,
Mm.
how we can make sure that we maintain our love in our community. Because that's part of the culture, is that we make sure Black and brown people are taken care of, and love is on the menu. So
Mm.
I'm so excited to have her come in and speak. And I think we're going to have like something very, very special coming up in the very near future, where everyone come in person and experience Black love from Dr. Satara Streeter.
Wow. Wow. There's so many different elements of Black love that I hope that you all discuss,
Yes.
because I know that there is a lack of outlets for those who are in love and are Black, to have that opportunity to hear from an expert, and maybe even a landing place of sorts where you can feel heard. So I'm sure that you guys are going to share with us some tips to,
Gosh.
yes, yes.
She had so many great tips.
Okay.
I don't even want to start talking about it right now because we could go on and on.
But
She and I could,
can you share one? Because I know that you all have a deep relationship
we
outside of the show. And
do.
there may be something that you all have just discussed where you realize, you know what, Black love, but she can really speak to this aspect. Can you give us just a little hint?
One of the things she said was, we have to remember, and I say we because she wasn't just talking to our audience, she was talking to me too.
Mm-hmm.
We have to remember to create space in our relationships for each other. And it kind of resonates with me and goes back to Sharice Watson speaking about balance, goes back to Monique speaking about resilience, that when we create that safe space in our relationship for our spouse, for our partner, just 5 or 10 minutes where we are just talking from the heart. We're not talking about bills, because that's our number one subject.
Right.
We're not talking about bills. We're not talking about chores. We're not talking about children. And because of the generation I'm in now, we're not talking about what our parents' needs are. We are really listening and engaging and asking the question of each other. And then she shared the one question that we need to continuously, I can't tell you. I can't tell you that right now. I
Hold it.
can't tell you.
Don't
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna tell you.
Don't do
I'm
it.
not gonna tell
Don't
you.
do it. I
Because
want to, but
I'm not
I
gonna do it.
already know I'm getting chills. That show is going to be on fire.
It is.
It is going to be on fire. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I did understand that after one of your shows, there was this question as to whether or not you were going to potentially open up the platform for guests to be able, not guests, but viewers to be able to pose questions. Is that
Yes.
something?
I heard that question, and I people who know me privately and can get to me sent me a few texts and DM'd me about that. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I really do. I'm going to talk to the producer and see. And my producer is Roy Modkins and Jessica Garrett Modkins. I'm going to speak to them and see if that's a possibility that we can open it up a little bit more and address some of these questions. Maybe in just one show, address 5 or 6
Right.
questions at a
Right.
time.
Maybe like once a month.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And I like that engagement. So definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I do know that some are still afraid of stepping out and sitting down with a therapist.
Mhm.
I think that what we will do with this show is we will provide a little more transparency as to who therapists are, how they can help you, and for it to become a more common element of
Yeah.
our total health. It goes back to me with the word prosperity and my definition of prosperity. And prosperity is not just financial. It's the full scope. It is my mental wellness. It is my physical wellness. It is my ability to take care of myself. In addition to having financial means, it is total prosperity. And when I think of mental wellness, I am likening that to the same thought process. It's fullness. It's not just a silo. But yes, questions, real time questions. I love it. I love it. What were you going to say?
I was
Something?
just going to say I'm open to hearing what the community wants to talk about.
Right, a topic.
Because I think that's important to know that there's something going on and you want to have that discussion, you want to hear about it, and let's talk about it. When I first started this journey, the first thing I did was curated a video compilation. It's called I've Got Five on it with Black and Brown therapists, because I want to make sure that our community can feel like they have access to Black and Brown therapists. And these were all licensed clinical therapists that are in our community. They took 5 minutes each and just basically spoke a little bit about mental health and mental wellness. And then they shared their contact information. So this is a continuation of that. We want to make sure that everybody in our community, everybody that's in our culture knows that mental wellness is for you. You are a part of this, and we want you to come along and engage and definitely make yourself a priority in that process.
Well, Belinda, I don't want you to leave without sharing with us something about you. I wanted to find out, what are you doing for you right now? What are you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what are you doing to help Belinda?
Professionally or personally?
Both.
Both. Professionally, I am thrilled to continue my virtual private practice. I do take new clients, but I am selective. I do go through a process of consultation where the client decides if they feel like they're a match for me, and if I feel like I'm a match for that client. We are building relationships, and that's very important. It's not a dating app where you could just swipe. We're here to build a therapeutic relationship. So I want to make sure that my clients are engaged and they hold themselves accountable for being in this relationship with this therapist. So I'm working on that. I do also contribute to Forbes magazine, which I really enjoy, doing some writing for them. I'm looking forward to supporting a couple of retreats that are going to occur in the very near future and doing some writing for those retreats. And I'm also just enjoying my time on this platform with the culture, as well as another show called My Two Cents. So all of these things are on my plate. I'm enjoying them. Thankfully, I'm at a place where I can do things that I enjoy. My work is enjoyable, and I want everybody to understand how important that is, that your work is enjoyable. So it's not work, it's just joy. Mm-hmm. Now, privately, I'm taking naps here and there. I'm old. I'm not gonna lie. I'm taking naps. Let's see this beverage.
Now you always have that. What is that concoction? Because it looks so good. What is it?
In the daytime, this is just coffee with a little creamer. Don't tell anyone because I'm not supposed to be using the creamer. But at nighttime, it's coffee with I gotta say something from Dana. It's coffee with a little rhino juice. But I'm real. I'm a real person. I'm a part of this culture. Either you know me or you don't know me.
Are you slipping away to the beach anytime?
Of course. Every opportunity I can. Water is healing.
It is.
If you can go for 15 minutes, go for 15 minutes. If you could go for 15 hours, go for 15 hours. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm going to the beach. I'm looking forward to having a dinner party at the beach very soon. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm going to the water.
Yeah, that's a reset for me as well. Yes. And I'm so happy that we live close to the shore, because let me tell you, I remember when we didn't live here, and how I longed to come here just to be able to step foot on that sand. And there's something about it, something about the way that God created this Eastern. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go way deep.
You're right, but that a safe space for us to heal. Mm-hmm. And we need to continue to have those conversations and remind people that nature is healing. Take your shoes off, find a safe piece of ground to walk on, reconnect. Mm-hmm. That is part of mental wellness. We have work to do, people. We have work to do.
Even the air, the salt in the air from the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I don't know where the time goes. This is why you're a regular, And this is why we've got to provide platforms for you to be able to provide just wellness opportunities for everyone. Will you be coming back tonight for my 2 cents?
I will. I will definitely be here in full regalia. I'm ready for all of that. And I'm so proud to be a part of the family here at The Culture. And thank you so much for allowing Mental Wellness for the Culture to be a part of your platform.
Absolutely. And then you just reminded me, you said you had the full regalia. Then we have the private movie screening for The Woman King. I'm excited about going to see that. Let's see these Black women just all in their fullness.
Yes, I think I'm going to wear a crown. I need to.
All right. Yeah.
Tiara, something.
Something. Well, that's it for this edition of the Culture. Join us here tonight at 6 p.m. for another edition of My 2 Cents. Grab a drink, get ready for all of the shenanigans, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
The Culture is produced and owned by the Culture Media Group and cannot be reproduced or broadcast without written consent. All rights reserved. 2020.